Hey everybody, it is Dairy Flow. Can you hear us here? We are rocking this out. Hearing some extra music going in the background. Somebody turn that off in the background, but we are rocking. Hey everybody, it is Dairy Flow. Can you hear us here? We are rocking this out.
Extra music
Hearing some
rocking. Let's
extra
get that
music
off.
going in the background. Somebody turn that off in the background.
Let's
but
see,
we
there
are
we
rocking.
go.
Hey
Everybody here.
everybody,
Are we
it is
here?
Dairy Flow. Can you hear us here? We are
Alright,
rocking
now,
this
man, it's good to
out.
see everybody
Hearing
in
some
the house. I got
extra
that
echo going. Let's get rid of that. There we go. All right, it's Derek from the Beautiful Now podcast with another edition of Chasing the Impossible. Man, I haven't seen you guys since the beginning of the year. This is the first stream of the year. So welcome back to the Beautiful Now podcast, Chasing the Impossible segment. It just feels like forever, y'all. So I missed you guys out there. I'm glad you came back to see this first segment of the year. And it's going to be a fun one, so stay tuned. If you haven't had a moment, do me a favor, share this stream right now. Hit the big share button over it and share with somebody who wants to hear something encouraging, uplifting, and inspiring. Of course, the Chasing Impossible segments are built for you to be able to share a story of someone that done something impossible to remind you that no matter how crazy your impossible is, no matter how crazy your story could be, if they can accomplish their impossible, you can accomplish yours too. And today's no different. We've been waiting to have this young lady on the show for quite a while. So if you listen to trance or you love DJ music, you're going to love this person's story. But first of all, I want to make sure you guys know everything goes to the YouTube channel, the Beautiful Now Projects. If you ever want to see new content, you can stop right there and see tons of videos with other people we've interviewed along the way. We also have our Life Hack series, which is a 2-minute video that comes out every Monday at 8 a.m. So if you're looking for something uplifting to give you a nice little jolt to start your week, take a look at the Life Hack series as well. But without further ado, today we're going to jump into a story of a young lady who just happens to be blind, but she's a DJ. And you think, is that possible? Can they pull that off? Well, guess what? We can, and she has. And we're going to bring on this young lady right now. Her name is DJ Hey. DJ Hey, you're there? Talk to me. Are you there?
I sure am. How are you, Derek?
There she is. What's going on, girl?
Well, everything is great. I mean, I'm doing happy and very happy to be on the show, so thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're sure glad to have you tell your story. When I first met you a while back, I was just so intrigued by you said, because I love to see DJs do their thing, and I thought, she's doing this thing blind, so how is she making all this happen with the crowd and the decks? So I'm looking forward to hearing everything about you. So thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you.
Oh, you're very welcome, and it's my pleasure.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and just slide right into the interview. Let's kind of talk about, hey, you've been blind since birth, right? And I'm sure you've faced a ton of obstacles along the way. I've got my information here. People telling you can or can't do something. Did you ever feel like you couldn't accomplish your dreams because of your disability? And who told you that?
Well, unfortunately, over the years, yes, I did have to put up with people who tried to bring me down, but I just was like, no, I'm not going to let you change me. I'm not going to allow the fact that you're trying to tell me, oh, well, because you have no vision, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't live on your own, you can't do X, Y, Z. It's like, nope, that's not true. So I've always been taught to just keep pushing forward and motivating myself and to encourage others to do the same thing.
Wow. That's incredible. When I think about people doing things that we fuss about because we didn't have the education or the tools or whatever, and we don't even realize, at least we could see, but you have a complete disability that keeps you from doing certain things that everybody can do on a normal basis. And you still persevered and pushed through it. That's always inspiring to me.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, a lot of people have said the same thing. So you're not alone in that,
Now, they say a lot of times, like when one of your senses is dulled or like is done, or you can't use that sense, that your other senses, I can't talk, are heightened.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true for you? Or do you hear better? Do you smell better? Do like other senses are heightened, or are they just all the same?
Yeah, they are all the same. And the thing is, that's actually a misconception, is that, people think, oh, well, because you can't see, you must have better hearing than me. No, but I do rely on it more. The same thing with my other senses, like smelling and all that, but mainly my hearing.
I gotcha. So then, has sound or music always been something you were drawn to from the beginning?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially music. It's been a big part of my life for many, many years.
Yeah, yeah. And how? I mean, how did you? Were you always like playing an instrument, or were you in the band, or how did music become something you were always involved in?
Well, when I was 10 years old, I did take piano, but obviously it's been over 20 years. So,
Yeah,
but
piano. Okay.
yeah, I just, but I mean, the thing is, DJing it's been my passion for the last 7.5, almost 8 years now, which is
Wow.
crazy how
Wow.
fast time flies. But yeah, it's been my passion ever since then. And I know we'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, this is what I love to do. And it's what makes me happy. And I'm there to do it for the love and passion.
So, was there anybody in your circle or that you met that kind of inspired you to be a DJ, or did you just always want to be? Yeah, this was just in your spirit, so to speak.
Oh, yes. In 2013, I had the great pleasure of meeting Dutch DJ and producer Barry Corsten at the Intervention Pool Party. And
Ah,
I
and I.
know, and the cool thing about it too was that I even got to be backstage during the set, which was super awesome. And the promoter, shout out to Andy Hirsch, he was amazing to me. Like, he was literally one of the first promoters actually who contacted a few people that were looking for a DJ like me. And because I sent him one of my mixes and I just said, hey, if you have time to check this out, let me know what you think. And it was in 2015 when he contacted me and said, hey, I have a friend who is looking for a DJ like you to perform at this Black Friday party. And so, yeah, he was like, you need to check her out. She's amazing. But anyway, yeah, when I told Ferry about what I want to do, he just was like, do what you do. I mean, don't let anybody change you and just keep moving forward and do what you love. And he's been supporting me ever since, which I feel really appreciated by because not a lot of people get to have their favorite celebrity do that for them. And this is also why, too, I live by what Casey Kasem always told his fans. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. And actually, Casey was one of the first celebrities I met as well, and he inspired me to be a DJ. But as far as DJing at the big name clubs and events, it was Ferry that
Oh, that's super
inspired me,
exciting.
and I was like, wow, I want to do this. I want to
Wow.
perform at big name events and whatnot. So yeah.
That's exciting. I mean, to have Ferry Corsten, which is one of the greatest DJs of all time. Shout out to Ferry. You know, we love Ferry here at Beautiful Now Podcast, Chasing the Impossible. We've interviewed him here, so we sure do appreciate you, Ferry, man. You've been the best with us. To have him say, hey, just follow your dreams and keep going, and that's amazing. That's great incentive, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I appreciated too that when I asked him at one point, what can I do to help me stand out from other DJs? He said, hey, you need to audibly mention about how you're blind because it's one thing for people to read about it on social media, but it's a totally different thing when they actually hear it. Because he was saying, when people hear that, they're going to be like, wow, this girl's blind. Whoa, she puts on this amazing mix like this. And the moment he said that, I was like, I agree with you because think about it. Not everybody gets to run into people like me who are in the entertainment industry with a disability. And that's what makes me unique. Because some people think, oh, well, because you're disabled, oh, you poor woman, you must have a sad life. I'm so sorry. No, that's not me. I don't look at it like that.
That's incredible. I love that you have that passion that you say, hey, it's not about that. I can push past this. I don't think about this as a sad thing. I just keep going with my dreams. Doesn't matter if I'm blind or not. You move forward. I love that. Love that. Love that. Um,
Oh,
when,
thank you.
when did you discover the passion? Was it before Fairy or after Fairy?
Well, I discovered. Are you talking about DJing or are you talking about trance music or
Yeah, the
both?
DJ. When did you discover your passion to be a DJ?
Well, as I said, music has been a huge part of my life, and um, to go back a little bit, when I was in high school, I would tune into Casey Kasem's radio show. And for those who don't know, who may be outside of the U.S., Casey Kasem was a famous DJ here in the U.S. who was host of American Top 40. And the cool thing about that show was he would tell stories about the artists that he would play, and he also had a feature called The Long Distance Dedication, where he would read a letter from a listener asking him to play a certain song to dedicate to somebody, whether they were still if they were still alive or not. But yeah, I just was like, music is just so wonderful, and I love the vibe that it brings to people, and it brings people. And that's when I wanted to be like, I want to pursue this. I want to be a DJ. I want to have this be my profession, but at the same time do it for the love and passion, as I mentioned earlier. Because some DJs are about, oh, I'm doing it just for money. And yes, while I'm doing it for that, that's not the main reason why I'm doing it. Because Barry taught me that. He taught me through not only my friendship with him, but also in interviews that I've heard him talk about, where he's like, I'm doing this for the love, and that's me. So,
Wow, wow.
and also, of course, everyone I've met in the trans community, they've taught me that as well. Like, hey, we can see that you love doing this and that it makes you happy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Once you decided to be a DJ, was it hard for people to take you seriously? I mean, I know when you're probably saying, "Oh, I'm a DJ," and they're going, "Yeah, you can't DJ. You're blind." Was it hard for even your family? Did everybody just say you could do this, or was it hard for people to really go get behind it?
Oh, my family has been so supportive of me, and I really appreciate that because unfortunately, some people have the opposite, where they have families that don't want to support their dreams and they tell them, oh, when you grow up, you're going to be whoever. And I think that's unfortunate because everybody should be able to follow their dream and do what they want. Because at the end of the day, we're in our driver's seat of our own lives. And if people want to try to change that, well, that's not up to them. Um, but surprisingly, no. Mostly all the clubs that I performed at, they just are like, oh my gosh, this is so cool that you do this. And that's why I think networking is so important because if people just read about it on social media or stuff like that, they might have a hard time believing you. So that's why, thanks to me going out to parties and telling people, hey, this is what I do, this is what I love, they're like, oh, hey, I might know of somebody who performs at such and such club, or hey, I know this person who performs at Exchange LA, for example. Let me see if I can get you on stage or on the decks.
Wow, wow, that is just awesome. So here's the real question. And when you were getting all this together, trying to figure out you were going to make this happen, how many no's did it take before you got to your first yes? And who gave you the first shot to spin the decks?
As far as no's go, it goes back to what I just mentioned about how surprisingly I haven't gotten any turn downs so far, which I feel very lucky about because the way that I see it, it's like people don't understand it, but that's why I'm here to bring awareness to people that, hey, if you don't know about somebody like me, just ask them. Because I've had situations in life where people would say, oh, I assume that because you're blind, XYZ. And it's like, no, just ask me. Like, ask me, hey, how do you blah, blah, blah? How do you do this? Or how have you been able to live by yourself? Which there's these amazing training programs available for people like me who are blind or visually impaired, whether if they've either had it all their life like me, or if they had sight when they were younger and they lost it from some sort of disease or whatever. Because that's the other thing too, is that people have a misconception about, oh because this person's blind, that must mean that person is blind for the same reason, or we're blind for the same reason, and that's not true. So.
Wow, wow. Well, how long did you practice your craft before you actually went out and did it professionally? Was it a few years in the woodshed learning how to do those decks? How long did you get out there before you did it first?
Well, I was very lucky enough, a year after I met Ferry, I was lucky enough to meet DJ Taylor Michael, shout out to him, who became my DJ trainer, and he was the one who taught me everything, like from how to transition. He showed me how to use my equipment, and he gave me great tips along the way that would help me with pursuing my career. And yes, it did take me quite some time to learn my equipment as far as the muscle memory and knowing, okay, this is where the crossfader is, this is where the cue button is, and all that stuff. But yeah, after just taking some time practicing, I all of a sudden just boom, just it was like, oh wow, I can do this now.
Oh, wow, wow.
I
And you
mean,
just
for some people it may look simple, but I always tell people it's not at first, but as long as you're willing to practice and have it take time, then you'll get there.
Yeah, yeah, and you just said you had to learn where the cue and things are on the mixer decks. Anybody that does
Mhm.
do DJs knows there's actually, huge decks set up there that you're spinning. Not any records anymore, but it's more just the music in MP3s or CDs in there. Since you can't actually see the records, do you use special equipment to be able to show you what you're putting in and how you're picking the records? How do you know what records is coming up and spinning which what?
I do, and that's the thing is that I use a controller which I have hooked up to my laptop. And the cool thing about it is there's a screen reader on my laptop, Now, this is obviously the screen reader that's built into all Mac computers. It's called VoiceOver, and through my DJ program, it'll tell me information about the tracks, like the artist, the BPM, the title, all that stuff. So, would you mind if I quickly just showed you,
Yeah,
like,
check
so
it.
that
We'd love to
everyone
check it
can kind
out.
of hear? Okay, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, let's see what you got. We're all excited about
Nice.
it. Let's see what you got.
Just-
Introducing the one and only trance DJ, Miss DJ Hayes, going to break down some stuff for us and show us what's going on. So if you're just coming in, she's setting up her decks. She's going to show you how she does it live right here on the program. So it doesn't get any better than that. She's going to rock us through actually throwing some songs together on the set. She's got her queued up headphones ready to jam it out. You guys ready to check it out up there? You guys ready to see this? Come on, you ready? Oh, you got even more than that. It's time to do it our way. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh yeah, it's time to go live with DJ Hay. You ready, DJ?
You betcha.
Do your thing.
All right, so I just thought I would let you guys hear what I hear through my headphones, because that's the thing people ask me. It's like, how do you know what's coming up? Well, this is what I would hear that the crowd doesn't. Whoops.
So it's talking to you.
Yeah, it is.
Ah, okay, cool, cool.
126.
I love it. So it's
Yeah.
actually telling you what's coming up inside your headset.
Yeah, exactly. It's telling me, like you just heard, it told me the artist, it told me the title, it told me the BPM. So yeah, and it's my eyes. So that's why people always say, well, wait a minute, how can you know what's coming up? So that's what makes it unique.
I love it. That's cool. So
Well,
when you're
thank you.
jamming and you're hearing what's going on out there, it's also saying, "Hey, this is queued up," and you can go to the track you want from hearing what's going on in the
No, it
background.
doesn't. It doesn't say that it's queued up, but I mean, I could, when I move the browser knob, I don't know if you can see me, but when I move it
Hmm.
to the right, then I go to the next song, and if I go back, it'll go to the previous. So like if I'm like, oh, I'm almost about to play the wrong track, or I always want to double check,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Well, and I
So
bet you've got to actually be able to know the music super well because if you're just going through the songs and it's just telling you what song it is, you'd have to know all the music extremely well to know what track's going to blend with what, right?
exactly, and that's the thing that people don't understand about DJing is that they think, oh, it's just playing a bunch of random songs and mixing them together. No, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. You have to know what song blends well with what, and also energy levels too. If you try to mix, say, a trance song with a totally different genre, then it's not going to work well. And the extended version I always recommend for people to work with because it gives them the time to mix in and out of, as opposed to if they tried to do the radio edit, it's not going to work because it
Gotcha.
doesn't have the intro and outro.
That is cool. That is mad cool. That is mad cool. So tell me about Trance by Touch. Is that all part of the application that or the program that you have now in the community that you work with?
No, Trans by Touch isn't in the program that I use, but as I mentioned to you when we spoke a little bit off camera, that's the name of my show because, as I mentioned before, when Ferry recommended for me to audibly mention that I'm blind, I was like, why not just make that the name of my show, Trans by Touch? Because I mean, yes, all DJs touch their equipment, but for me, it's different since that's how I see, is I see by touch. And
Hmm.
so if you've listened to some of my mixes, for example, you'll notice that in my intro, I always end it with, now enjoy the vibe through Trance by Touch.
Nice, nice. I love it. I love it. And where can some people hear about you? Where can they hear your mixes? What's the best place to find you?
They can hear me on Mixcloud. So if you go to my website, which is trancebytouchproductions.com, that's TRANCEBY touchproductions.com. My Mixcloud, along with all of my socials, is on there. Oh, my merch store too. And I just also thought I'd mention really quick that um, I'm doing a special donation at the end of the month where I'm going to be donating 50% of my proceeds to St. Jude, because that was a dear friend of mine who I sadly lost to COVID a few months ago. It was his favorite charity, and so I'm, you know, doing it in his honor. So if anyone would like to buy some of my merch to look cool and stylish from now until the end of February, you know, you'll be donating to a great cause.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. And that's amazing to know that they'll be supporting you and other causes as well.
Absolutely, yeah, to St. Jude. Because, like I said, that's the charity that I'm donating to this month. So, but in general, if people just want to buy my merch to wear it and to walk around and wear a shirt or a hoodie or whatever it is, so that, excuse me, so that my
That's
name can
okay.
get out there. Yeah, the more it can get out there, the better. Oh, and also, I live stream the show on Twitch twice a week. I live stream on Friday nights from 8 to 9 Pacific time, and on Saturday afternoons from 4 to 5, on behalf of DJ Tiger Lily and the Emerald Dragon Company, which they're a radio station based out of Montana. So shout out to them. So yeah, if you want to see and hear me do my Trans by Touch show every week, I would definitely recommend you subscribe to my Twitch channel and follow me there.
I love it. I love it. Last thing, interesting question about how you do what you do. How do you sense the crowd reacting to your set? Are you listening to their applause? I mean, because normally when a DJ is doing a set, he's watching the floor, he's watching them dancing, he's trying to figure out what's working. How do you vibe to figure out what's working, what's not with the crowd?
Well, it's exactly what you just said. I hear their applause, or like if I'm playing a song that they instantly recognize, then if they go, yeah, then I know, oh yeah, they're feeling the vibe, they're feeling it.
So they'll give you one of these?
Yep, that's exactly right. For sure.
And then you'll give them back one of these. Yeah. Something like that, right? Pretty
Well,
close?
something like that. I don't actually give them the horn, but I just wanted to quickly let you hear the cool intro that I use for when I'm about to go live on Twitch, or this is even the intro that I'm going to use for when I'm about to go live in the club.
Wow.
You ready?
I'm ready. If we can hear
here we
it.
go.
You're now aboard the Trans by Touch Express with your blind conductor, DJ Hay. Sit back and buckle up. This train's about to go off the rails.
That's
There
pretty
you go.
cool, DJ. That's pretty sweet. That's fired up. I love it. I love it. I love
taking
it.
them on a trainer journey, and so that's why I'm like, okay, let me have something different, something that nobody else does.
Well, here's my last question for you, and I really appreciate you taking a few minutes just to share about what you do and how you got here and what exciting it is for someone who's watching. You know, if you could share one thing out there with other people that have disabilities that maybe say, I can't accomplish that because of disability. I can't do my dream because I can't do this. What would be your last final thing to tell them, to share with them that says, hey, you can make that happen? What would you say to them?
I would say don't let anybody bring you down. Like if people try to tell you, oh, you can't do this because you're in a wheelchair. Oh, you can't do this because you're blind. You can't see, or you have limited vision. No, that's bullshit. Don't listen to them.
Yep, say just don't listen. Just do your best, huh?
Exactly. And like I said earlier, just like what Casey Kasem always said to his fans, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. That's why I live by his famous quote.
Well, we sure appreciate that you stopped by and told us about your story, and everybody that's out there watching. I hope if you feel like, hey, whatever I've wanted to do that felt impossible, if DJ Hay can pull it off, if she can go from taking turntables and learn how to do this thing blind and move the whole floor without seeing them, then whatever your impossible is, you can do it too. Don't give in. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep giving God the glory first, and you'll make that happen.
I just thought I'd share one thing real fast
Yeah,
before we wrap
go
up.
for it.
Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so when I went to Dream State SoCal for the first time a couple years ago, there were 30,000 people there, and I got so many people recognizing me through social media. Like they were coming up were like, "Hey, excuse me, are you that totally blind DJ that plays trance music I'm following?" And I go, yes, this is me. Or I think even one of them was like, "Hey, are you DJ Hey?" And I go, "Yeah, that's me." So yeah,
Hey,
and I
that's
just wanted to give a shout out to my friend Brooke Brown, who at the time was in charge of the We Event organization that helped people attend the event of their dreams. Thank you for making that happen, because if it didn't happen, that wouldn't have happened. So I appreciate that. And this is also why Fairy's track Out of the Blue, which she did under System F, has a special place in my heart, because every time I hear the melody, it always continues to motivate me and push me forward and say, hey, anything's possible. And that's why I felt like I was in the same boat as him, where within a short amount of time that I decided to pursue my career, things started happening. So, yeah.
wow. Well, thanks for sharing that quick story. Sure do appreciate you. And as I told the people before, hey, let's follow DJ Hey. Let's see what she's doing. Let's follow her trends. Let's follow her TikToks, her Twitch channel, Facebook, you name it. They'll be listed all inside the description of this YouTube channel. So when you go back and take a look at the description, all of her information will be there. And if you enjoyed this content, do me a favor. Share it with a friend. Let somebody else know there's things that are encouraging out there rather than the same old madness we hear from all the news and all the bad news. There's something to encourage you out there. Chasing the Impossible, Beautiful Now podcast. We are always here to bring you something uplifting, encourage, and inspire. Hope you had a great one today, guys. Take care. See you next time on Chasing the Impossible. Have a great one, guys. Take care.